1. Let's talk about this 1985 Chevy 3.4-ton that's caught my eye. And honestly, at $26,500, we need to have a serious conversation about what we're looking at here. The seller's got a clean, short bed 4x4 setup that's showing 93,000 miles on the clock, which isn't bad at all for a truck of this age. Now, what's really interesting here is the condition the seller claims. They're running the classic 350 V8 paired with the bulletproof 350 turbo transmission, a combination that's pretty much the gold standard for reliability in these trucks. The seller says it sounds and runs great, and with these powertrains, that's totally believable. But let's talk about that price tag. $26,500 is serious money for an '85 Chevy, even in today's inflated market. For this kind of asking price, that paint better be show quality nice, and that solid body claim needs to be absolutely true. The seller seems confident about the condition, describing it as very nice, must see it. These square-body Chevys have become incredibly desirable lately, especially short-bed 4x4s, but you'll want to verify everything in person. Check those wheel wells, frame rails, and cab corners for any rust issues. These are the typical trouble spots on these trucks. If everything checks out as described, clean title, solid body, nice paint, and a strong running drivetrain, you're looking at a well-preserved piece of American truck history. Just make sure you're comfortable with that price point, as these trucks were selling for significantly less just a few years ago. 2. We're looking at a pretty interesting piece of Ford history, a 1976 F100 that's asking $4,000, and honestly, this one's got a story to tell. Being a one-family-owned truck since new really adds some charm to this old workhorse, and that 69,500-mile odometer reading seems believable given the history. Let's be real here. This truck isn't perfect, and the seller's being refreshingly honest about it. You've got the legendary 300 cubic inch inline six under the hood, which is basically the cockroach of engines. These things just refuse to die. Paired with an automatic transmission and power steering, it's a comfortable old-school setup. The good news? They've taken care of the important stuff recently. New tires, muffler, catalytic converter, and carburetor. That's actually pretty significant maintenance that you won't have to worry about. The seat's original and mostly good, though there's that split seam on the bottom cushion they mentioned. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, it's got some battle scars. The seller's upfront about some dents and rust, mostly surface rust they say. But you'll want to check those typical trouble spots like the cab corners and bedsides carefully. The fact that it's made long-distance trips recently, Virginia to Georgia, without issues, is a good sign for its mechanical health. At $4,000, considering today's inflated classic truck market, this seems pretty fair for what you're getting. A running, driving piece of American truck history with known history and recent maintenance. It's not a show truck, but it sounds like an honest old work truck that still has some life left in it. 3. We're looking at something special. A 1954 Ford F100 that's been given quite the makeover, listed at $24,525. And let me tell you, this isn't your grandfather's farm truck anymore. This is a beautifully restored piece with some serious muscle under that iconic hood. Let's talk about what makes this F100 special. The seller's got this beauty finished in silver with a gray interior, but the real story here is what's powering it. A 302 V8 that's been built up with a 347 stroker kit. That's a serious power upgrade from the original straight 6 or Y-block V8 these trucks came with. Only 9,045 miles since the build, which means this powertrain is still pretty fresh. The 54 F100 is arguably one of the most beautiful truck designs ever created, with those iconic curved fenders and that big, bold grille. This particular example appears to be a resto-mod build, combining classic looks with modern power and reliability. The automatic transmission makes it much more drivable than the original manual these typically came with. At $24,825, we're in serious collector territory here. But considering the cost of restoration and that stroker motor build, it's actually in line with what these modified F100s are going for these days. The fact that it's being sold through a dealer, Bay City Motors, suggests it's probably a clean build. But as always, you'll want to inspect everything in person. 4. Let me tell you about this eye-catching 1974 Dodge D100 Power Wagon that's up for grabs at just under $10,000. And folks, this isn't your average beaten-up old Dodge. We're looking at what appears to be a pretty well-preserved piece of American muscle truck history. Let's get straight to the good stuff. It's rocking the reliable 318 V8 engine paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. And yes, it's a proper 4x4 with locking hubs. That's a seriously desirable combination for these old power wagons. With 79,000 miles showing on the clock, this truck still has plenty of life left if maintained properly. The seller's making some bold claims here. Zero rust is a pretty significant statement for a 74 Dodge, and if true, that's a huge plus. They've fitted it with brand new tires, which is always nice, because that's money you won't have to spend right away. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. It's got a rebuilt title due to a bed replacement. While that's not necessarily a deal breaker, beds are often the first thing to go on these old trucks. It does affect the value and explains why the price is where it is. That orange exterior is pure 70s awesome, and these power wagons are becoming increasingly desirable among collectors. The seller says it runs and drives great, which is exactly what you want to hear about a nearly 50-year-old truck. 5. We're checking out a 1972 Chevy C20 that's listed for $15,000, and let me tell you, this one's got an interesting story. While the seller claims excellent condition, let's break down what we're really looking at here. The good news, and there's quite a bit of it, is that someone's dumped some serious money into the mechanical side of this truck. We're talking about a fresh 350 4-bolt crate motor. That's the good stuff, folks. And they didn't cheap out on the supporting mods with those brushed aluminum headers. The list of new parts is pretty impressive. AC unit, a huge plus in an old truck, brakes, tires, shocks, wiring harness, and even a new fuel tank with lines. That's basically all the expensive stuff you don't want to deal with. But here's where we need to keep it real. The seller admits it needs a new grille and a paint job. That's actually pretty refreshing honesty right there. The current blue paint probably isn't going to win any car show trophies, but hey, at least they're upfront about it. At $15,000, you're essentially buying a mechanically refreshed C20 that needs some cosmetic love. These 72 C20s are getting harder to find, and considering all the new mechanical components, the price isn't outrageous in today's market, especially with that clean title. Think of it this way. Someone's already done all the hard, expensive mechanical work, leaving you to focus on the fun stuff like picking a new paint color and finding that perfect grille. Just make sure to check the usual rust spots in person. The cab corners, rocker panels, and bed floors are the typical trouble areas on these trucks. 6. We're looking at something pretty special, a 1971 Chevy K5 Blazer CST that's asking $25,000. And let me tell you, these first-gen Blazers are becoming seriously hot commodities in the collector market, especially CST, custom sport truck models. What we've got here is a Blazer showing 95,038 miles, finished in that period-correct ochre color that just screams early 70s cool, paired with a saddle brown vinyl interior, a combination that really captures that vintage SUV vibe. Under the hood, you're getting the tried-and-true 350 V8, backed by a 3-speed automatic and a proper dual-range transfer case. This is the drivetrain setup you want in these early Blazers. One of the coolest features of these K5s is that removable hardtop, which makes this essentially a convertible SUV, something you just don't see anymore. The chrome bumpers add that perfect touch of class to what was originally designed as a rugged off-roader. At $25,000, we're definitely in serious collector territory here. While that might seem steep to some, the market for clean first-gen Blazers, especially CST models, has absolutely exploded in recent years. The key here is that this appears to be a complete running example with the desirable CST trim package. Just remember, these early Blazers are notorious for rust in the usual spots: rocker panels, wheel wells, and floor pans. You'll want to check those areas carefully, along with the hardtop seals and mounting points. Also, make sure that transfer case engages smoothly. Repairs can get pricey. 7. Let's talk about this 1975 GMC K25 camper special that's up for $20,000. And folks, this is one interesting heavy-duty piece of truck history. Being a 75, it's one of those coveted smog-exempt years, which is a big deal for you California folks. Let's break down what we're looking at here. The seller's been pretty thorough with the mechanical work. You've got a rebuilt 350 V8 paired with the bulletproof SM465 4-speed manual. That's the heavy-duty transmission you want in these trucks. The 14-bolt rear and Dana 44 HD front axle with disc brakes is a serious setup, and that NP2805 transfer case is basically bomb-proof. They've done some nice upgrades. New lift kit with springs, fresh undercoating, and all the drivetrain components have been resealed. The interior's gotten a full makeover with new carpet, dash, stereo, and seat. Those twin 15-gallon O tanks in the bed are a nice touch for long-range capability, and the Line X bed coating will keep the rusted bay back there. Now let's keep it real. The seller's honest about the truck's imperfections. There's some surface rust and door rust, which is pretty typical for these square bodies. The paint job is described as newer but okay, so don't expect show-quality finish here. At $20,000, you're in the territory where these camper special K25s are trading these days, especially with all the mechanical work that's been done. The fact that it's a true camper special with working AC adds value, and these heavy-duty 3/4 tons are getting harder to find in solid condition. 8. Let's talk about this 1974 El Camino that's up for $11,500, and honestly, this one's got some interesting points to consider. First off, let's address that odometer situation. It's showing 18,098, but it's broken, so we're flying blind on the actual mileage here, folks. The good news? We're looking at a California car, which typically means less rust concerns, and it's got the reliable 350 automatic combo. They've done some meaningful updates that matter. The transmission got an overhaul in 2020 with all new soft parts, and they've just put new brake calipers on it in November 2023. The rear axle seals were addressed in 2019, and that Line X bed liner from 2017 is a smart addition that protects the cargo area. One big plus is the AC has been converted to R134A. That's a modern refrigerant that's still readily available, unlike the original R12. They've also thrown in a Bluetooth stereo for those who want some modern tunes in their classic ride. The seller's upfront that this isn't a daily driver, but mentions it starts and runs smoothly. That's important, because these cars can make great weekend cruisers if properly maintained. At $11,500, you're in the ballpark for a driver-quality 74 El Camino in today's market. These business in the front, party in the back vehicles are getting more attention from collectors lately, especially the earlier models. 9. Let me tell you about this 1972 Chevy Cheyenne I found on Craigslist for $4,000. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. This classic pickup has potential, but it's definitely a project truck since the motor isn't currently running. But don't let that discourage you completely. The Cheyenne was Chevy's premium trim level back in '72, and this one's got some solid features worth mentioning. It's packing a 350 V8, though not running, paired with an automatic transmission. The power steering and power brakes, especially those front discs, were pretty nice features for a truck of this era. The rear cab light and side toolbox are practical touches, and the tow package shows this was meant to be a proper workhorse. At $4,000, considering today's inflated classic truck market, it could be a decent starting point if you're handy with wrenches and have a vision. The clean title is definitely a plus, but let's be real. You're looking at investing time and money to get that 350 running again. These old Cheyennes are beautiful trucks when restored, with their distinctive styling and that classic 70s Chevy charm. Just make sure you factor in the engine work when considering the total investment. 10. Let me tell you about this interesting 1966 Ford Ranchero I just spotted for $8,500. This is one of those unique car-truck hybrids that Ford absolutely nailed in the 60s, and this one's got a story to tell with 28 years of single ownership. That's always a good sign. Let's be real here. The seller's being upfront about what you're getting. Under the hood, you've got the classic 289 V8, which has been rebuilt, paired with an automatic transmission that was overhauled about 4 years ago. The odometer shows 70,000 miles, but it has rolled over, so keep that in mind. What's really promising is all the mechanical work that's been done. Complete brake job, rebuilt rear end, and polyurethane front suspension upgrades. Now, I've got to be honest, it's not perfect. The seller admits it needs a paint job and some freshening up. But here's the cool part. It's a running, driving example that you could actually use while you gradually restore it. That's pretty rare in today's market. At $8,500, considering the mechanical investments already made and the current market for classic rancheros, it seems like a fair starting point for negotiations. These vehicles are getting harder to find, especially ones that have been maintained well enough to be daily drivers. The clean title and long-term ownership add real value here. 11. We're looking at a seriously clean 1963 Chevy C10, listed for $25,000, and let me tell you, this one's a beauty. First-gen C10s are absolute icons, and this example shows why these trucks have such a devoted following. Let's dive into what makes this particular C10 special. The seller's done this truck right with a built 350 V8, topped with a triple deuce carburetor setup, that's 3 two-barrel carbs, folks, paired with a bulletproof TH400 automatic transmission. Those headers and fresh dual exhaust probably make this thing sound absolutely glorious. The restoration work appears comprehensive. We're talking fresh paint in black, always classy, new interior, and that beautiful bedwood with fresh strips. The modernized touches like power steering and front disc brakes make this classic a comfortable daily driver. The suspension's been completely refreshed with new springs and shocks, so it rides like a dream. Now, being totally honest, there is one mentioned flaw, a blemish on the driver's door where it meets the body. But on a truck of this caliber, that's a minor issue that could be addressed if desired. At $25,000, while it's not cheap, the seller makes a valid point. You couldn't restore a C10 to this level for anywhere near this price in today's market. The combination of classic looks with modern drivability makes this a seriously attractive package for someone wanting a turnkey classic truck that's ready to cruise and show. 12. Let me tell you about this eye-catching 1971 Chevy C10 stepside that just popped up for $18,500. First off, that plum crazy purple paint is definitely going to turn heads. It's a bold choice that really makes this classic stand out from the sea of red and black C10s out there. This 71 has some thoughtful upgrades that make it a great cruiser. The small block Chevy engine is paired with a 700R4 transmission. That's a smart upgrade from the original, giving you an overdrive gear for comfortable highway cruising. The 3.73 Posey rear end is a great compromise between acceleration and usability. Those 18-inch Craigslist wheels add some serious style points. What really catches my attention is the vintage air system. That's a premium addition that makes this truck actually enjoyable in summer weather. The modern Bluetooth stereo with a subwoofer is another nice touch that brings some modern convenience to this classic. At $8,500, considering today's market for classic C10s, especially step sides, which are generally more desirable than fleet sides, the price seems fair for a driver-quality truck with these upgrades. The clean title and the fact that it's a complete running truck with modern amenities makes it an attractive package for someone wanting a classic truck they can actually use and enjoy. 13. Let's talk about this 1964 GMC pickup I found listed for $8,500. I've got to be straight with you. There are some things we need to discuss here. First, let's note that salvage title. That's something you'll need to consider when thinking about future value and insurance. This classic GMC is running its original inline-six engine, which was rebuilt years ago, according to the seller. These old GMC straight sixes are known for their reliability and torque. They're basically farm equipment in the best possible way. It's paired with a manual transmission, which adds to the authentic vintage truck experience. The seller claims it's in very good condition and can be a daily driver, which is promising. They've put on new tires and a new exhaust system, both important maintenance items. The odometer shows 18,640 miles, but it has rolled over, so the true mileage is unknown. At $8,500, considering the salvage title, you're looking at a driver-quality classic truck. These 64 GMCs are getting harder to find, especially ones that are running and driving. The price might be negotiable given the title status, but remember, these old trucks are climbing in value. Would I buy it? If the body's solid and that straight six runs as good as claimed, it could be a fun project that you can actually drive while you improve it. Just make sure to get a good look underneath and understand why it has a salvage title before making any decisions. 14. Let me tell you about this absolute beast I just found, a 1975 Chevy Silverado listed at $17,900, and folks, this isn't your average 70s pickup. We're looking at a seriously rare bird here with a monster 454 big block under the hood. What makes this even more special is that it's a factory 4x4 with locking differentials, a combination that wasn't exactly common in 75. Let's be real about what we're looking at. This is a special order truck from an era when these combinations were hard to come by. The 454 big block in a 4x4 platform was basically Chevy's answer to, what if we put a muscle car engine in a truck that can climb mountains? It's sitting on 35-inch tires, which really complements its already imposing presence. The odometer shows 77,000 miles, and it comes with a clean California title, though it's currently on non-op registration. The seller states it runs great, and the 444 system works well, which is crucial for a truck of this caliber. At $17,900, considering today's market for special spec 70s trucks, especially one with the coveted 454-4x4 combo, the price isn't outrageous. Plus, being a 75, you're free from California smog requirements, which is a huge bonus for anyone looking to modify or maintain this beast. 15. We're diving into a classic beauty that's up for grabs on Craigslist. Get ready to feast your eyes on a 1975 Chevy 3 to 4 ton pickup that's sure to turn heads and get your heart racing. First things first, let's talk about the price. This bad boy is listed at $8,500, which might seem like a pretty penny, but trust me, it's worth every dime. The seller claims the condition is good, and based on the details provided, it seems like this Chevy has been well taken care of. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 350 engine with 8 cylinders ready to roar to life. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission and a 205 transfer case, this pickup is built for both speed and control. And with 410 axles and large hubs, you can tackle any terrain with ease. One of the standout features of this 1975 Chevy is its 4x4 capabilities. Whether you're hitting the trails or navigating tough job sites, this 3-4-ton pickup is ready for anything. And with only 53,000 miles on the odometer, it's got plenty of life left in it. The exterior boasts a stunning blue paint job that's sure to catch the eye of anyone who sees it. And with a clean title status, you can rest assured that this Chevy has a clear history. But here's the best part. This pickup has had only one owner. That's right. Just one lucky individual has had the pleasure of calling this beauty their own. And now, it could be you. 16. We've got a real treat for you. A 1985 Chevrolet K5 that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this isn't just any ordinary SUV. It's a custom-built beast that's ready to take on any terrain you throw at it. First things first, let's talk about the price. At $20,000, this K5 isn't exactly a budget-friendly option. But when you consider all the upgrades and modifications that have gone into this vehicle, it's clear that you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. The seller describes the condition as excellent, and based on the details provided, it's easy to see why. This K5 has been built from the ground up with serious off-road capabilities in mind. The custom long travel suspension features 15 of travel in the front and 12 in the rear, with ADS 2.5, coilover front shocks, and rear reservoir shocks. The rear axle is equipped with Deaver springs for added stability and control. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful LS LQ9 6.0L motor paired with a 4L80E transmission. The NP208 transfer case ensures that power is distributed evenly to all 4 wheels. And with a Holley EFI Terminator X and BTR truck Norris cam, this K5 is built for performance. But it's not just about power. This K5 is also equipped with a 4-wheel disc big brake upgrade for added stopping power, and with general 37x12 517 tires on Method 305 bead grip wheels, you'll have plenty of traction and stability on even the toughest terrain. 17. We've got a real gem to share with you. A 1984 Chevy K10 Silverado that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this isn't your average pickup truck. It's a well-maintained, daily driver that's ready to tackle any job you throw at it. First things first, let's talk about the price. At $13,500, this K10 is a bit on the higher end for a truck of its age. But when you consider all the upgrades and new parts that have gone into this vehicle, it's clear that you're getting a lot of value for your money. Under the hood, you'll find a reliable 305 5.0L engine paired with a smooth-shifting TH350 transmission. This combination provides plenty of power for both work and play. And with a 6-inch rough country lift and massive 37 FM 13.50 R20 Cooper SST tires, this K10 has a commanding presence on the road. The seller notes that the truck has been well maintained with tons of new parts and receipts to prove it. This is always a good sign, as it shows that the previous owner has taken good care of the vehicle. The fact that it's been driven daily also suggests that it's a reliable and dependable truck. Inside the cab, you'll find a comfortable interior with working heat and air conditioning. This is a big plus, especially for those hot summer days or cold winter nights. And with a clean title, you can have peace of mind knowing that there are no hidden issues or surprises. One of the standout features of this K10 is the rhino-lined bed. This durable coating protects the bed from scratches, dents, and rust, making it perfect for hauling heavy loads or tackling tough jobs. 18. We've got a real beauty to share with you. A 1970 GMC 2500 pickup that's currently available on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this isn't just any old truck. It's a true classic that's been lovingly maintained and updated with some modern touches. First things first, let's talk about the price. At $26,000, this GMC is definitely on the higher end for a truck of its age. But when you consider the excellent condition it's in and all the upgrades that have been made, it's clear that this is a fair price for a piece of automotive history. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 350 Q in V8 engine that runs like a dream. Paired with a smooth-shifting automatic transmission, this truck has plenty of power for both cruising and hauling. And with power steering and front disc brakes, it's easy to handle and stop, even with a heavy load. The seller notes that all the gauges work, which is a testament to the excellent condition of this truck. And with a straight body painted in a stunning dark green metallic, this GMC is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. One of the standout features of this truck is the new 17 General Grabber tires mounted on Fuel Beast wheels. These modern touches give the truck a rugged, aggressive look while still maintaining its classic charm. And with new upholstery inside the cab, you'll be riding in comfort and style. It's worth noting that this GMC has just 85,000 original miles on the odometer. This is incredibly low for a truck of its age, and it's a clear indication that it's been well maintained throughout its life. The seller even has the original build sheet, which is a rare and valuable piece of documentation. 19. We've got a classic 1977 Chevy Blazer up for grabs on Craigslist, and let me tell you, this baby has some serious potential. With a price tag of just $5,000, it's a steal for anyone looking for a project vehicle or a rugged daily driver. First things first, let's talk about the good stuff. This Blazer has a brand new engine, transmission, and carburetor, which is a huge plus. The 350 small block engine is a reliable and powerful choice, and with fresh components, you can expect this Blazer to run like a champ. The seller notes that the overall condition of the vehicle is good, which is encouraging. However, there are a few issues to be aware of. The drive shaft needs to be replaced, but the seller assures us that the Blazer still runs well despite this. It's definitely something to keep in mind, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. Another issue to note is that the back window doesn't roll up. This could be a bit of a pain, especially in inclement weather, but it's a relatively minor issue that can be addressed down the line. The hood is also bent, but the seller says it will still close. This is definitely not ideal from an aesthetic standpoint, but it's not a functional issue that will prevent you from driving the Blazer. Now let's talk about the potential of this vehicle. With a clean title and just 93,000 miles on the odometer, this Blazer has a lot of life left in it. And with its rugged good looks and off-road capabilities, it's the perfect vehicle for anyone who loves to explore the great outdoors. Imagine taking this bad boy out on the trails, conquering tough terrain and making memories with friends and family. With a little bit of TLC and some minor repairs, this Blazer could be the ultimate adventure vehicle. 20. We've got a real treat for you. A 1967 Chevy C20 Custom Camper Special that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this isn't just any old truck. It's a piece of automotive history that's been well maintained and is ready for its next adventure. First things first, let's talk about the price. The seller just lowered the price to $12,500, which is a fantastic deal for a truck of this caliber. And with a clean title in hand, you can have peace of mind knowing that there are no hidden issues or surprises. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 327 V8 engine that runs like a dream. Paired with an automatic transmission, this truck is a breeze to drive and can handle anything you throw at it. And with just 70,000 miles on the odometer, it's clear that this C20 has been well cared for throughout its life. The seller notes that the truck runs and drives great, which is always a good sign. And with a sleek black paint job, this C20 is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. It's the perfect combination of classic style and modern reliability. One thing to note is that this C20 is a 2WD model, which means it may not be the best choice for off-roading or heavy-duty work. However, for cruising around town or hitting the highway, it's a fantastic option. As with any used vehicle, there may be some minor imperfections or signs of wear and tear. The seller doesn't mention any specific issues, but it's always a good idea to inspect the vehicle thoroughly before making a purchase.